Hi, I'm Matthew Cavalier, and welcome back to my channel, Moments with Matthew. Have you ever had those feelings where life is just kicking you around? No matter what you do, nothing seems to be going right. You are feeling like doors are slamming in your face and you're being punched around and kicked around and you just don't understand why. And you're trying desperately to fight against it and you're trying desperately to right it. And that is a frustrating time. It kind of goes back to the video earlier, a couple weeks back, where, some days you're the windshield and some days you're the bug. And, a lot of the times it really does feel like that. But I've been really thinking about this because that bug feeling has been continuing over the last couple of weeks. I just feel like, God, you're being kicked around and, difficult professor, changes at work that you don't agree with and you weren't happy with without feedback or any kind of warning. And so I started to feel like, wait a minute, what is happening here? And instead of feeling like I was the victim that this was happening to, I felt I really needed a mindset shift. What is actually happening here? So for me, I started to take a look at it in the sense of, okay, life feels like it's kicking me around. But what if I change that thought process just a little to, life isn't kicking me around, life is painfully pushing me in the direction that I need to be headed. So maybe I'm not doing what I need to do for my internship to be successful. Maybe I'm not doing what I need to do to be fulfilled fully in the job that I'm doing right now. I've been pondering grad school. I've been pondering my PhD after I finish my master's in December. Perhaps what life is doing is saying, hey, we are making the opportunity for you to be able to continue going to school and focus on that. I like that idea a lot better than, God, I can't seem to do anything right. One of the great things that I learned from, of course, Brené Brown, is how to give myself that feedback and how to give others the feedback that I'm feeling. And I love it because it comes to the idea of the story I am telling myself. So all of these things have been happening, and of course the story I've been telling myself, which only continues to make it feel like that I'm the victim, the story I've been telling myself is, you clearly suck at getting your master's. You're not going to be a very good leader. You clearly suck at the job you're doing because your boss doesn't want you to have it anymore. You clearly are not doing well in your life. So, of course, that was the story I was telling myself over and over again. I was telling myself that story the last few weeks ago when I talked about being afraid of love. The story I tell myself is, you're not a very good boyfriend. You're not very good in relationships. And what if I start to tell myself, wait a minute, that's not right. What is the better story? How do we rewrite this story so that it makes more sense? So it is a better narrative. Don't get me wrong, it still feels like shit. It still feels like you're getting kicked around. But can you change the narrative so that going forward, you are in control? You are no longer the victim. I am going to make sure that I continue to rewrite this story so that I can figure out what is the best path for me. What is the life lesson that I am learning here or supposed to be learning here? I often read about when I was studying Buddhism and kind of shifting to that thought process of karma. We think karma's gonna pay you back. And that's not really what karma is. Karma is continuing to put the same lesson in front of you over and over and over again until you learn it. So for some of us, that does feel like, yeah, karma's gonna kick your ass. And it does feel like that sometimes, but really what it is life teaching you that lesson that you need to learn, that takeaway that you need to grow as a person. Have I figured out what that takeaway is over the last couple of months of feeling like nothing I do is right? No, I have not. But have I shifted my mindset so that I can work with the narrative and I can start to tell the story and figure out what this lesson is that I'm supposed to learn? Yes. And that is the first step. If your mind isn't open, if you're not ready for a growth mindset to figure out what is happening, you are going to switch to that victim mentality. And that's not what I want for you. I don't want you to be the victim. I want you to be the author. I want you to be the driver. I want you to be the composer, however you want to describe it. But you are in charge. It's not happening to you. It is happening to guide you. What do we need to change? How do we need to behave to make sure that we can move forward and grow ourselves, our lives, both personally and professionally? So stop looking at the negative. Feel the pain, feel the anger, and then move forward. That's the focus here. What do we do to make this the best situation possible? Don't get me wrong, sometimes when you're rolling around and being covered by the shit, it doesn't feel like it's going to get any better. And you say to yourself, how can I make a positive out of this? It does not have to be a massive positive change. It also doesn't have to be a massive positive story that you're telling yourself that you're going to say, this is bullshit. Of course it's going to be bullshit. You've got to tell the story little by little. You've got to make the changes little by little. That's how you change the narrative. If you read a book where the character is growing and changing, they don't make one drastic change. That'd be a pretty boring book. You wouldn't want to read it. They make small little changes of growth so that by the end of the story, you either see that they're on the right path or that they've made it to the next step of their growth. It is the same with us. We make little changes, little adjustments to our story, little adjustments to our inner narrative, so that we can make the changes that are necessary to move out of victim mode and move into, this is my flippin' life and I am going to take charge. We may not always know what that looks like, but we know we have to do it. And I have faith in you, just as I have faith in myself, that even when I'm feeling like I'm kicked around, I am slowly going to make those changes, reflect, and examine what I need to do to get the best out of a situation that doesn't feel so great. But I'm going to keep working. Are you going to keep working? Can you keep working? Do you know someone who would like to listen to this, who needs to hear this message? Please share it with them. Share the channel. Click that like button so that the channel's message can go out. And do click that subscribe and the bell so you are notified the next time our next video comes out. And I will see you next week for A Moment with Matthew.